It's time to focus on seniors with Helping Seniors TV. The television show designed to make you aware of senior issues and needs, as well as to acquaint you with the resources available to help you age in place and with dignity. Now, here's your host, Joe Steckler.
I'm Joe Steckler, and welcome to Helping Seniors, the television arm of Helping Seniors of Brevard County. Our show is designed to provide you with information on how to develop your own aging and care plans. Our topic today is medical monitoring systems, and joining me is Wren of Wren Home Care. Welcome, Rick.
Good to be with you, Joe.
Okay, and before we start our discussion, I just want to make a point for the importance of whatever you do in life, trying your very best to access systems that are tried and tested and work. And I think after you hear Rick's explanation of what his monitoring system does and the network he's a part of will convince you that you might think about using this button system for yourself or for a member of your family that is particularly prone to falls. And sometimes I think, Rick, that people don't understand the many uses that these monitoring systems can be put. And I want you to do everything you can to make our viewing audience today fully aware of the capabilities of what you have named WrenCare and what it is. And let's just start. What is WrenCare? What is a medical monitoring system so the viewing audience understands what it is that the two of us are talking about?
Okay. The medical monitoring business has been around actually for about 25 to 30 years, so it's not new, but it has become much more, of course, with the aging of the population, with the companies that are competing now. You can't see a TV show anymore without seeing a commercial.
I understand.
So what I did is I networked with a company that has 25 plus years experience in the Midwest called VRI. And they've been monitoring people in their homes for, like I said, over 25 years. And what was important to me was somebody that had the expertise, that was focused in that line of business, and would put all their efforts into making sure that they're doing the best job of monitoring people in their home. And like you said, one of the things that they've done is they've expanded from just a personal emergency response system, which is what people typically think of when they're in the home for fall devices, for emergencies. But they've gone well beyond that now. They've gone into monitoring medication trays to make sure people are taking their medications when they're supposed to. And they have live monitoring intervention if people forget as well.
Okay. Say that again. I understand the medication monitoring, but what was the next thing you mentioned?
It is the medication monitoring system.
I know that, but you mentioned something after that. You said live monitoring.
No, the live monitoring would be our call center that would receive a message from the actual machine. If it's not opened within 30 minutes of the time that it's programmed to be open, to take the medication because it's alarming you, reminding you that it's time to take your medicine. If that hasn't occurred within 30 minutes, then that machine then will call the call center for you. And then they will call to make sure someone is aware that the medications have not been taken.
Okay, I wasn't going to get into the medication monitoring system until later in the show, but you've turned the show and you've turned the back to the front and the front to the back. So let's just talk. Well, let's stick with this thing. First of all, we've got this what we call a button system.
Right.
And what does the button do? Where can you wear the button? Around your neck, wrist? What is your system? How do people use it?
Well, first of all, you need to probably have a conversation with someone like myself to talk about what is the right system for you, because there are so many options out there today.
Okay.
But you can wear it around the neck, which is where most people wear it. But some people don't want to wear it around the neck.
Okay.
They may feel like, it's something people will see and it's something I'm not feeling comfortable with. So you can wear it on your belt. I've been wearing a cell phone on my belt for 15 years, and prior to that, I had a pager for another 15 years prior to that. So I'm used to wearing something on my belt that's electronic. And that will get away from that stigma that I'm wearing a personal emergency response system around my neck.
Does it have a wrist system too?
They do have a wrist system as well. So there are a lot of different ways to wear these that they're not as obtrusive to some people.
Okay, let's talk about the advantage and why people that are prone to fall, or people that possibly have dementia, or people that are really sick, they have a weak heart, you have other breathing problems, and if something happens, it's more of a panic attack type thing, that you know that if you can't get help right away and you live alone, that you've got to have help almost instantly, and you can't get to a phone. So that's where the WrenCare system really plays an important part. Am I right or not?
That is true. That is true. However, to go beyond that, some people today don't even have phones in their house. We have systems that we can put a unit in that will actually work without a phone, and it ties into a cellular network. It's only good within about 400 feet from the base unit, but that is something that you have to think about. Also, today, people aren't always using landline phones. They may use a cellular phone, or they may use a digital phone. We have voice compatibility, or a unit that's compatible to VoIP or to digital phones, and not all systems are like that.
But let's stick with it. Let's say I'm wearing the system,
okay,
and I've got a button around my neck, and I live alone, and I fall, and I realize I can't get up. And it's happened to me. I fell one evening, and I was putting some artwork up, and I just tipped over in a chair, and it hurt my elbow so bad. The pain was agonizing. I could not move. I couldn't do it. Had I had that button system, if I'd have squeezed the button,
that's all you have to do.
What would have happened?
It would have taken a call directly to our call center.
And where's your call center?
Outside of Dayton, Ohio, and Springfield, Ohio.
Okay.
24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It's monitored. And we happen to have a monitoring capability that's been tested beyond what everybody else has been tested. It has 5 Diamond certified call center, and not very few of the call centers in the country today are 5 Diamond certified through an outside agency.
So what happens?
Within 5 seconds of the time they receive the call, a live person answers that call and starts talking through the mother unit that's based in that house. If no one responds, then they'll get a hold of the next person they're supposed to contact in line, or they'll call the fire department or the police department. They have a protocol that they have set up prior to any problems occurring.
So if I have the button system and I live alone and I fall, from the time I push the button, how quick do you think help could get from the time I squeeze the button till I guess if I come through the front door or breaking the front door down?
That's going to be hard to say, because it's going to depend upon, like I said, if they have a protocol to contact a family member, it's going to be how long do they take to respond. If they have to go to a emergency contact,
Actually, you raise a good point now. Here's something we never, I've done several of these shows, but we've never talked about this before. If a person is that concerned about personal safety, why would they interpose anybody between the time I push the button until a 911 responder would get to me? Why have a family member or anybody in there for serious situations?
They may want it because they feel more comfortable with their family. Maybe their family member just lives down the street and they think they can get quicker response from a family member.
Yeah, but I think both of us would agree that that's not, in most cases, that's not true.
In most cases, that's not true.
So I would think, okay, let's go all the way back to very basics now. You said, and when we started the show, that if I wanted to inquire about a system, you would talk to somebody like me.
Correct.
And if you evaluated the situation and knew a person was, say, prone to a heart attack, or had a breathing problem where they're on oxygen, it would make more sense to me to have that call go to the 911 responder so they can get immediate help.
In most cases, that would probably be correct. But every situation is going to be individualized. In addition, today's technology, you can get additional technology built into these systems that have a fall alert device built in that, let's say that you fell and you hit your head and you weren't able to hit the button. We have units that will actually detect a fall and automatically send that signal without you hitting the button. There's a big benefit because if you're unconscious, obviously you can't hit the button.
Are you saying if you fall and you're unconscious, this system will still work if you have that capability?
If you have that capability, correct.
Okay, one of the next questions I was going to ask you. Okay, let's take it. Basic cost of a system. A basic monitoring system cost. What is it per month?
Our system is $29.95 for a basic unit. It does not have the fall monitoring system that's built in with it. That would be an additional $10.
$10?
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
I know.
That's cheap.
But think this is what people, I get that posed to me a lot. I don't have the money for this system. I can't afford to pay for it a lot. And people don't realize they have loved ones. They have family members that want them to be safe. And I think sometimes they're hesitant to reach out to family members that want to help, that feel better themselves if they know that mom or dad or grandma or grandpa have something like this in the home.
You know, I can't imagine, heaven forbid something would happen to my wife. But if I lived alone and knowing some of the problems that I personally have, I would want a button system with that fall thing that you talked about on it for $10 more a month. For $30, I just think $39 a month, I can't hardly really go and get 2 bowls of soup at Panera's restaurant for that.
That's exactly right.
So
people don't realize what they spend money on during the month that they could afford something like this.
Stay at home one night a month and not go out and eat a granola bar at home instead of going out and getting soup at Panera's and have yourself that extra protection. It's beyond my reasoning why more people won't think about this as they get older, Rick.
Well, we take a step beyond that. We have a mobile care unit that's tied into the AT&T network. So anywhere there's an AT&T signal, you can pick that up. And the reason why I like it's a little bit more money, but if you look into everything that it has in it, it has fall detection built in. It has two-way communication, hands-off, where you don't have to use your hands to communicate. It communicate directly through the button. You can be anywhere out of the house, where with the other units, you're stuck within 400 feet, 500 feet from your base unit. It also has GPS tracking. So let's say you fall down, you hit your head, it sends a signal, but you're out somewhere. It will be able to find where you're at. So someone within, a reasonable amount of footage can be able to find out where you're at. If you're in the park or you're at a store, you're at the mall.
How far could you be from your home to have that signal work?
Anywhere in the country.
Okay, now how much would a system like that cost on monthly?
$44.95. So again, you're talking just a few cents a day difference where you have that kind of freedom and you have that kind of independence.
Do you all get on the phone and advertise like AT&T does with the new package? We got all these new phone packages. We're going to give you all this stuff.
No, we don't. And the one thing that you talked about, AT&T and some of the other packages. The one thing I like about working with VRI is we do not have any upfront charges. You don't have to buy equipment. You don't have to sign a contract. It's a month-to-month deal. So if you want to try it and it goes for 2 months and you no longer want to use it, you can turn it in.
One of the things that Helping Seniors is trying to do, Rick, is to build a provider network so that the people in Brevard County know about the many ways they can help themselves or help a family member. We have the television show, we have the radio show. You've been on my radio show. We've featured you in our magazine, but we need to do more in causing the like 545,000 people in Brevard County, Florida, to cause them to know more about medical monitoring systems, different elements of care, and that can come into a home to help drive down the cost of care. And if anything, your monitoring system is probably a prime example of how, if more people would use it, we could really drive down the cost of care from falls. Falls are the biggest killer of senior citizens in the medical market. But a lot of those falls occur and are not detected until hours or a long time after the fall, so much damage ensues. If you had a monitoring system on with a fall prevention thing on for $39 a month, think of how quick a person could get assistance and care and prevent an escalation of a medical problem.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned something, and I got you away from it, and I make sure we cover this really in detail today. The medication monitoring system, because we talked about that on another show, but after I went back and looked at the show, I realized that I didn't think that the viewing audience got a real appreciation for the significance and what your medication monitoring system can do. So I would really like for you to explain the medication monitoring system, what it is, and how it alerts through the call center and some of the capabilities.
Sure. The medication monitoring tray is actually a sphere. It's round, and it holds one medication per day up to a month. So somebody can actually go in and program up to 4 doses per day for a full 30 days. And the reason that's important is you don't have to depend on someone but once a month to be in your house to help you take care of that if you need assistance. And they can load the trays with all the medication. That way you don't have to worry about, did I forget to take my medicine? Have I taken it too many times because I've forgotten? Getting the pill bottles open if people have problems with that. You have all those issues. You also have a locked system. So those pills are locked into there. So if you had someone in the house, a young person, for example, that you were afraid that might get into your pills, that system is locked. So they're not able to get into it.
Once they're put in the medication tray, nobody can get into it?
Without a key.
Okay.
And that's important. So what we have is we have a medication tray that's set up. And then what happens is it's programmed. And then there's an alarm system with it. So it's programmed similar to an alarm clock. So it's very simple. But again, usually you have someone coming in, helping you get it loaded. They can help make sure it's set up properly. And we have technicians that come into the house the first time to help you with everything, to make sure you're understanding how to use the equipment. That's no charge as well. So people need to understand not all companies, not all systems are alike. But getting back to the medication monitoring, you mentioned hospitalization. 30% of the hospitalizations, people over 65 are due directly because of medications and either not taking. Yeah. And the number one reason why people can't stay independent is because they're not able to manage those medications properly in the home. So what happens is if you don't open that tray at the designated time that's set, then within 30 minutes, that tray will start to alarm and let you know there's a problem. And it will alarm up to a certain point within a matter of minutes. And if you don't get to open that door again to take your medicines, then that tray will send a signal to our call center. And the call center then will call someone.
And in case, let's say, in a case of failure to take a medicine, you probably have a family member or somebody that's very close to the family.
Exactly.
This would not be a 911 situation.
Usually no, not at all.
What is the charge for a system like that?
$32.95 a month.
$32.95 a month.
And what we do is if you need a basic emergency response system going along with the medication tray, we knock 30% off of the monthly charge for the two combined.
So let's say if a person wanted that ultimate system that was 44 and they now have added the medication system. I have a reason for doing this. There's 44 there. Now we put the medication tray in. How much is your overall package now?
About $66 for those two.
Okay, 66. And let's say if you got a person that lives alone, and you had somebody from Seniors Helping Seniors, which was what Jennifer Helen
Right.
was the lady that taped your show before. And
I know Jennifer. Yes.
You work with her. If she had a person that came in, and if it took them, since they have to give her service out in a block of 2 hours, for $32, our person could come in and load that medicine tray, and you got a $66 charge. We now are less than $100 a month for having a fall prevention system, a medical alert system, a GPS tracking system, and a system that monitors your taking of your medication, and you're having a person that come in and load the medication tray, all for less than $100 a month. And there are many people that are placed in assisted living facilities because they can't do that.
That's correct.
What you just can do for $100 a month, they go to a place that may cost them $5,000 a month.
Right.
So every time we have a television show or a radio show, or we write articles about a provider network and driving down the cost of care, you now begin to see what electronically programs like WrenCare can do to help families bear the cost of medical care.
Absolutely. And I think it's just knowing how to use that technology, where to go, and help you kind of maneuver through which system is best for me, what is the best price point to get it within my budget, and then go from there. And you're right. You save a lot of heartache too, as well as money.
Have you, I know, and I've asked you to write letters for our Senior Scene magazine newsletter, because I think it's so important, Rick, for the general public to know more about the help that is available that too often we take for granted, or we don't think about putting a button system on a well person. We want to put these things on sick people. They can be on well people that are in danger of becoming sick.
Right.
And you know, I think about people that my wife and I have taken to church. They had maybe a flag system outside their house. If the flag was in a certain position, the across the street neighbors knew everything was all right. Well, one day something happened where the person didn't get out to change the flag to signal that the new system was in place. What had happened was she had fallen in the bathtub. She couldn't get out of the bathtub for a whole day. And when the people across the street recognized that there was something wrong, by the time they got there, over 30 hours had passed, and this woman had been lying in the bathtub all that time. She simply could not get out.
That's a perfect example.
It is.
That's a perfect example. And that happens all too often. One thing I love about working with VRI as well is they use a system that no other system I know of uses, and that's what we call double loop monitoring. When there is an episode and they have to contact a life squad to go to the home and intercede and help the customer, they don't just stop there. And that's where most of them stop. They've done their job and they're done. Our call center then will contact the family member, the person that's on their list, to let them know what's going on, where they're being taken to, which hospital if they're going to a hospital. So they do the complete loop and make sure everyone's in the same loop. And that's something that's unique. In addition to that, the call center encourages calls, even if they're what you might consider non-emergency. Someone has somebody come to the door and they're alone at night. They can use our call center to call and be on the phone when they answer the door. Simple things like that. And they encourage that.
You ever say, if somebody knocks on my door and they can push something on their button system?
Let's say you have somebody knocking your door at night and you're not sure who it is and you're not expecting anyone and you're a little nervous about it. Then you can use the call button, get somebody on the line. They'll hang on the line while you answer your door.
My gosh.
And they're happy to do that. That's what I love about this company.
It opens up a whole new. It's almost like these alert systems and home security systems.
A little combination, yes.
But it's better.
It's better.
Because it's real time.
Real time, real person, somebody carrying on the other end of the line that's that wants to do best for you.
I wonder how many people watching the show today have learned something from the discussion the two of us have had. I know I have learned several things. I've learned enough to know that in articles that I write, I will be mentioning some of the things that you have told me, because I'm well aware if there's a pretty good chance if I haven't heard of it before, there's thousands of other people have not heard about it because simply nobody gets as involved in this stuff as I do and as you do.
That's true.
So, and about, I'll give you 20 seconds. Why should people and how can people contact WrenCare?
Well, first of all, just give us a call, 1-800-910-1325. And that way you can get a hold of me. I can have a conversation and we can figure out what do we need to do to solve your problem.
So what you're saying to me is that you're going to be the WrenCare information specialist.
Correct.
Just like Kate Kaiser does at Helping
Exactly.
Seniors. And will you call them back to find out if
I call back to make sure everything's gone well, to make sure the companies follow through as they said they're supposed to.
Okay. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
Thank you, viewers, for watching today's episode of Helping Seniors. And I hope you've learned something. I have.